Chubstep.
Jrad.
Creating the oil of
Steed. Chub. Step.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the king of the jungle.
I could get a fish for a 5-cent worm.
Oh, you're paying way too much for worms, man. Who's your worm guy?
Captain, got a second?
It's Captain.
What did I say?
Captain? Like Captain Crunch?
All right, but to be fair, Captain Crunch was a war hero and the primary male role model in my house growing up, so.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
And the show has started. We are joined by a very special guest. You guys know him from the Tejas and Lil Stevie show, Hot Takes, Rams Talk, talking about, for the 8th time on Chubstep, Lil Stevie.
8 times. I was wondering how close I was to the 10-timers club.
No, not yet. You're close, though. You're close.
It's a thrill to be back. I'm delighted. Let's go, man. I'm sitting here in the award-winning apartment from the Whale. We're thrilled.
Exactly. Steed is joining now also, but until then, yes, Steed, your background is the very sad apartment of Brendan Fraser's character in The Whale. I even like the little walker sitting next to you. And
yeah, do they have the pizza box in here?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I can see the pizza box. Last time you were in Mad Men's office, and I don't think, like, Don Draper's office, basically, and I don't think you'd have a bigger contrast between, like, Don Draper's office and Brendan Fraser's apartment from The Whale.
I'm glad you said that, because I almost did the same thing, and I totally forgot I did it last time.
Yes. Oh, perfect.
I almost downloaded the Sterling Cooper office.
Nice.
Look at I'm missing out on these shades. I just told Jared I went to Pete Alonso's Sunglasses Day at the Mets game last year. I would have had a pair. I was too late. And I was early to the game. I want that on the record. I was early. They were still sold out.
Listen,
that's
these are
crazy.
Limited edition shades here.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sitting here like a fucking dweeb.
There was 11 of us that went to the Cardinals game against the Seahawks, Lil Stevie, at the end of the week 17 or 18. And we were all wearing these glasses. Yeah. So
now
that's how you know you're a diehard.
I thought you meant the
Cardinals
baseball
fan.
Cardinals.
Oh, that is the no,
Those
Arizona
guys
Cardinals.
suck. Those guys.
Your Rams rivals, Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah. Luckily, it hasn't been a rivalry in a bit, but hey.
Yeah.
I like Kyler. I believe in him. I don't know why people don't like him. Plays Call of Duty. So what? So does everyone else.
Yeah, he plays Call of Duty. He's short. Who cares?
He's a short guy.
He's a good player.
You got to be a tall guy for people to like you.
Yeah,
it's the rules. I'm sorry, I don't make them.
People are more critical of shorter people. I think that's fair, and it's not fair, but that's what they end up doing.
Napoleon screwed it up for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yep.
So
Aaron Sproles did his best.
Exactly. So, Lil Stevie, we have you on every year to talk about TV shows because you're a TV show expert because you've seen TV shows before.
Yes, I've seen TV shows. I work in what we call the biz for the uninformed, so my opinions are correct.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And your opinions on this show do not represent the opinions of the network you work for.
Yes, they absolutely do not.
It's a disclaimer.
That's bullshit. We need some sponsor dollars. All right.
Yeah. What if I was like, actually, they do?
Yeah. Slide us a couple sponsors. Give us I'll read an ad.
For the right price, we can share whatever opinion, whatever network shares on everything.
Yeah, that's also true.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, Jrad 30, Vita Coco, Jrad 30, 30% off your Vita Coco order.
Great plug.
All right. So we have done every year, as we said, expert. And so I wanted to go through a few things. We'll do our classic kind of top shows of the year, maybe some ones that were sad are going away. And then I wanted to do some disappointing shows. So I kind of want to hear your thoughts. I know you kind of release every year your kind of list without Chubstep prompting it. So go through kind of your list of your favorite shows of 2023.
I do. And I don't, as someone who works in the biz, I don't want to go too deep on my least favorite shows. I'll talk about some
Sure. I can
confusing
go through my
shows.
least favorite shows.
I want the worst. I only want the worst show.
Yeah, I'll chime in.
That's fine.
I'll chime in on your opinions. Yeah, so I'll give you my top 10. But like my 1 and 2 were The Bear on Hulu and Succession on HBO. It's just like, what's there to talk about, you know?
Yeah, guy
Yeah.
cooks and then something happens in the other.
Yeah.
Show. I've never
You know
even
what
heard
yeah.
of Succession.
You've never heard of
People make
Succession?
money and yell at each other.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So The Bear, except they're not cooking.
Yeah.
But they're
The Bear,
related.
except
They're all
they
related.
have more money.
Yeah. A lot more
They
money.
are. Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm sad Succession's going away. Of course, it's one of the best shows of the last decade, if not the best. Pretty cliche, generic top 1 and 2, but like, oh, those are the 2 best shows. They're both great. They're both awesome.
Very good
I can't wait for
shows.
The Bear to come back.
Very good shows. Yeah, they're both different in a lot of ways of a lot of other shows, and just kind of, yeah, especially The Bear, I feel like is even,
Yeah.
There hasn't really been there's so many cooking shows, and this is like a real cooking show that just has nothing to, minimal about the cooking side of it, just more about the restaurant industry. It's very interesting. But both very good shows.
I've never seen The Bear either.
You got to check it out, man.
I'm gonna let you guys know I have not watched a show in the last year.
Perfect.
Like I have not watched a new show or an old show.
When you're kicking it, what do you throw on?
New Girl.
Do you watch like anything? New Girl's great. New Girl's great.
I watched New Girl. I was watching Game of Thrones. Then I just stopped. I was watching the new Game of Thrones, but I accidentally watched the last episode first. Spoiled the whole season for me.
Oh no.
And then I watched this show called Baki, and it's an anime about like this super yoked up guy, and he just like beats up other yoked up dudes. It's
That sounds
awesome.
Fucking fantastic.
Everybody in the show is just like gigantically muscular.
Just jack guys fighting jack guys. Perfect.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right. Well, Steed, based on New Girl, House of the Dragon, which returns June 16th, if you need to go catch up, and whatever that anime was, I will give you a shout out if any of these shows I think you'll like based on those recommendations.
Okay, good.
But one thing about The Bear and my number 3 show, which I've definitely preached on the show, is Reservation Dogs, also on Hulu.
Yeah.
Jared, did you ever dive into that?
I literally have it next on my list. I just finished Shrinking, so I have that next to watch.
Shrinking's great. I had Shrinking 13, but I have 43 shows on my list.
Yeah.
Which I'm not going to go through them all, but Shrinking was great. Shrinking was great. When I was at the movies with my wife recently, or last summer, they played a trailer for the new Indiana Jones movie, and she was like, "That's the guy from Shrinking." And I was like, "That's Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones as Indiana Jones."
Yeah.
Han Solo.
Yeah, Han Solo. But one thing I like about The Bear and Reservation Dogs is they like the people in the show feel like actual humans.
Yes.
They are like in The Bear, especially like we all know Richie, man. Like everyone knows that guy. It's just like very like even though The Bear is not like totally what I'd call like grounded. And in some ways it's very grounded. In other words, it's not. I would say the same would be for Reservation Dogs, which is just ended. I'm very sad to see it go. It's only 3 seasons, so if you're looking for a short 30-minute episodes, just like chill out show, that's Reservation Dogs. That's my shit.
Yep, it will be watched within the next
for
like
forever.
month or two. Yeah, it'll be watched.
Hell yeah. And then at 4 and 5, I had Barry and The Last of Us. I don't know if you watched either of those.
I've seen
Barry also over. Barry's great. Barry last season was fucking bananas. I don't know if you finished it.
So
I've only seen 2 seasons.
I watched everything except for the last season because everybody was like, this last season like depressed me and it wasn't funny. And it like people liked it. I think people liked it a lot. I just didn't need that energy, I think.
Yeah,
at the
not funny at all.
Yeah.
Was still nominated in the comedy category at the Emmys. Deserved to be nominated for an Emmy, as a comedy. I don't know. It's not
probably just
that
a
much
different
less funny
category.
than The Bear.
Yeah, again,
Yeah,
that
it's
bothered.
great,
I
though.
texted Lil Stevie about this right away. I was like, The Bear, great show, not a comedy. It should just not
Yes.
be. And I get they want to give multiple, they're like, hey, Succession and The Bear are great shows. They need to be nominated or they need to win awards. But like maybe just someone's some and someone's other ones. Like, I don't know. They're not. They're to me, those are in kind of the same category. They're drama series, really. I don't
Yeah.
consider
Which
this.
one?
Yeah.
Which one did you giggle to more? Like, what was the most giggling?
Probably
The
Succession.
Bear, or Succession. Yeah, Succession's
Yeah.
the funniest out of these shows.
Yes.
Early Barry is the funniest out of these shows,
Yes.
but like
I
current
love
Barry, not funny.
The bald Russian guy,
Yeah.
Yeah,
best
no,
character
Hank.
ever.
No, Hank. He's great.
Oh, hi Barry. That's
He like
the whole show.
borderline the only source of laughs left in the show. There is some like funny, like really dark humor in it, I will say, but like you should definitely check it out. It's just like such a wild swing of like the ending is insane. And like I watched I had screeners for this at work, so I couldn't talk to anyone about it when I watched it. But I was just like this is fucking out of control. But it landed for me clearly to have it decide.
Yeah.
And then Last of Us is, it's great. There's not really much more to say. Delighted, Jared. I think you're gonna like my number 6 was back on the list after a while. Was Fargo.
Okay.
Back in action.
Ooh.
Yes. And so I'll get to Fargo. I have not seen the newest season of Fargo. I have it. That's like the top of my list. I actually have on my parents' list. Fargo is in the top 5. I wanted to share with you my parents' list because they always like this episode that you do. So that's on their top 5 as Fargo.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I'd have loved every season of Fargo so far. So I'm sure I'll enjoy this. And I love, obviously John Hamm. You can't go on John Hamm.
Oof.
Yeah. The House of Ham over here was
The House of Ham.
delighted to have him on our screens.
I was
Boys,
actually late to this because I was making some ham steaks and it got out of control.
Good. Good. That's a pretty common occurrence.
Ham was on sale. So I got a ham for $6. Sorry.
I'm gonna watch Ham. They need to put John Hamm in a production of Hamlet. That's what we need.
Oh, there we go.
2 on the nose.
We're cooking. We're cooking. Okay. Yeah, this is my favorite season of Fargo, I would say, since 2.
From this moment forward, I decree no more schnitzel or strudel. Let's get some American food up in there.
And I also liked all the seasons. But it felt like they were like they definitely took some swings in season 4, and I don't know if they all landed.
Mm-hmm.
And this one felt like they're it felt more like Fargo again. And they do take like some really like weird turns. Like I think the ending was pretty surprising in a really cool way. And just like fucking John Hamm, man. Put him in everything.
I know. Always kind of plays kind of a douche. He's never like a nice character for the most part. But he's always great.
Yeah.
You know what's going on here, don't you? Hand jobs.
Is that right?
What percentage do you think?
Yeah. But he's great. What else we got here? Did you guys check, or Jared, I'm assuming Steve did not watch Beef on Netflix?
Yes, I watched Beef.
Beef.
Yep.
What you
I don't
think?
even know what
Okay, Beef, I liked. I enjoyed it. Did I feel like I needed to watch more of it, or like I was like it wasn't in my top? I wouldn't say it's in my top like 15 shows, but I enjoyed it. Like I was watchable. I like had a good time watching it, but I didn't. Some people were obsessed with it. I wasn't as obsessed with it.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised they like ran the table at all the award shows. I'm not mad about it though, because clearly I really liked it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know a lot of people thought it lost some steam as it went on, but I loved it. I don't know. I thought it was great.
It's fair.
Really funny. good story. Steed, okay, based on so my next two are actual comedies. I think these are our first two pure comedies on the list. I have
Okay, here we go.
I got The Righteous Gemstones. Steed, I feel like you would like this just based off of the small number of conversations we've had. It's a Danny McBride HBO show. And then at 9, I have my guy. I will watch anything he's in. And then 9, I had Abbott Elementary, which I feel like you would like based off of New Girl. Like, if you like New Girl, watch this.
Okay. Is Zoe Deschanel in it?
She is not.
Okay, all right, maybe. What's it on? I only have Hulu.
It's on Hulu.
It is Hulu.
Oh,
it's on
damn
Hulu.
it. I might actually have to watch it now. Shift away from New
But
Girl.
yeah, I would say those are probably my two funniest shows on TV. I would say Gemstones is the funniest, but like I'm just so in the bag for Danny McBride. It's hard for me not to say that. Like
great.
the guy is just him and his team. They just know how to make me fucking laugh.
Chorizo tacos. Are you saying chorizo tacos? Don't play around because I'm super hungry.
And that cast is insane, top to bottom. Everyone's so fucking funny.
I thought that this was the Adam Sandler movie you were talking about.
Uncut
Gems?
Yes. Yeah, that's the one.
Basically the exact same movie.
I did not realize that
the movie's the exact same as the TV show. They're basically the exact same thing.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I'd say there are some similarities.
There's almost no similarities.
There's almost both the main characters are Delulu doing some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the word gems is in the title. So
there we go. And gems is in the title. Yeah. Okay. So Stevie, those are some I like those are kind of your top 10-ish.
My number 10 was, which I think I've talked about many times on this, was The Marvelous Miss Maisel, which also just ended.
My Amazon box. Yes.
Let me tell you what I didn't love about Marvelous Miss Maisel. Again, one of my favorite shows, I think, just in general. I didn't love the flash forwards. I didn't.
They were hit and miss for me. They didn't all land. Yeah. I think it's probably like if the show wasn't ending. Well, they wouldn't have done this with an ending, but I think I feel like it kind of, even though it was just like profusely nominated for awards every single season that aired, I feel like people stopped talking about it. And so I feel like in my head, I was like, this is like one of the best shows of the decade.
Yeah.
It was kind of up and down at points, but like, I just personally wanted to give it its flowers. So maybe that's why I put it in the top 10. I had Dave right after, which I also loved. Maybe I like that more. I don't know. I really like both.
Okay, so I like your top 10 here, Lil Stevie. I'm gonna go through. Here's my top 5, and I have The Bear and Succession on mine. The ones I think you're missing as far as top 5 for me, my consideration. I think Jury Duty is my actually number 1. I think that was the show that I was just because it's so my sense of humor. I think I was just dying like every episode. And really looking forward to the next one. So for me, Jury Duty was my number 1.
Sir.
I also am racist.
Sir, please have a seat.
I'm sorry. You're a racist?
No, I'm sorry. I'm not racist. I was told that would work.
Who told you that? All right, never mind. If I put you under oath, you would attest that you are not a racist. Is that correct?
I'm not. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Jury Duty, I loved. I have it lower on my list than I remember putting it, but I loved it. Like it was really well done. And I think like there were some somewhat reasonable complaints about like how the show's made, that they just like Truman showed this guy for 2 weeks, but like the way like from my understanding, it's like they vetted the shit out of this situation
for sure,
to where they felt as confident as they could that this guy life wasn't going to be ruined by this, and B, like the show functions to never make him the butt of the joke. Like he
comes out looking good.
He comes out looking great, and I think he's happy about it. And like, yeah, they never put in a situation where like you are laughing at him. Like if he's funny, it's because he's like being funny. You're just like laughing at the whole absurdity of the situation.
Yes. And James Marsden is amazing at it, I think.
Yeah, he was great at it.
Yeah. Just him and himself. But I completely agree. And he got money from it. He got some fame from it. I think in the end he was happy. My number 2 was Gen V. I
miss Gen V. I need to watch that. I'm moving it to the top of my list now. That
there we go.
Because I did want to watch it for the new season of The Boys.
I will say, especially because I'm not even somebody that I don't even like this controversial take. I don't even like the Avengers or any like the superhero shows like that. But I love The Boys and I love Gen V.
The Boys is awesome.
Yeah, and Gen V is just a spinoff of it, and usually spinoffs a lot of times don't do well. And I thought this was like just as good, if not better, than The Boys. And then number 4 for me was Morning Show. And what I'll say about Morning Show is, again, I think kind of similar to Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Like, I think just typically a topic I would not even think I was interested in. I think it's like way better than it should be. The Morning Show. I think that a character sometimes can make a show so much, and it's the guy that plays Corey, the CEO of the news network. I think he is one of the best characters in TV. I don't know if you've seen The Morning Show.
I have seen The Morning Show.
Okay.
It is not high on my list.
That's fine. That's fine. I like it a lot.
I love Billy Crudup in that show. He's fucking phenomenal. Won an Emmy for it, deservingly. I just like some of the plot decisions in that show just like are so mind-boggling to me. Like for the uninformed, the show like tackles a lot of current events, and the first season was like pretty much like Me Too. Done really well. First season I thought was really good. The second season was COVID, which like I didn't need to see a show about people discovering COVID a year after COVID. And then this season, and this is a real thing that happens in the show, is that Reese Witherspoon's character somehow winds up in the Capitol on January 6th.
Oh, I did. You know what? I think I did kind of ignore some things that happened. Yeah. You're right. So you're right. Okay. Some of the things when you're saying these things, I was going between, for this spot, I was going between The Last of Us and Morning Show, and I actually switched it out last second between Last of Us and Morning Show. And it's a good point, Steve. There was some things, now that I'm thinking about it, that some bad decisions, interesting decisions, let's say.
Interesting decision. Yeah, that was, and like so much of the season hinged on this specific plot line. And it was the same thing with like the COVID plot line in season 2. It's just like, I feel like they took the wrong lessons from the first season. But great cast. I mean, you just got your Ham tinted goggles on still with
Ham's
that ranking.
back in it. Ham's back in it.
Yeah, Ham. I mean, Greta Lee snubbed for an Oscar this year. Will Arnett was in it for a little bit. Wasn't there some other crazy actors in the season? I don't know. Take It Darren was in it. Everybody's in that goddamn show.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the show. I'm going to go through some honorable mentions I had here.
Yeah, hit me.
Okay. Winning Time Season 2. I think one of the best cast shows. Like, it's amazing how much the people look like the actual people. What was really sad is that it clearly got canceled, and then they're like, last episode, let's just wrap everything up. Let's wrap up like 9 years of the rest of the Lakers dynasty in one episode. Because I liked where it was going. I liked it a lot. I just literally like the casting. I kind of like that old basketball too, so that maybe that's part of it.
Yeah, the couple of episodes in this season where like the Paul Westhead Pat Riley feud was like coming to a head was really great. Those episodes were really good. And yeah, the cast was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And also everybody's in that show too.
Yep, you're right. Party Down, I think for coming back for a couple episodes, a show that's been off the air for a bunch of years coming back, I thought they did a great job.
I am just so embarrassed to say that I haven't watched this yet.
That is.
It's just because I got to get stars for a month, and I just
I did that exactly. I got stars for a month.
Yeah, I keep meaning like I keep meaning this every time I fly. I'm like, the next time I fly, I need to get stars and download because it's only 6 episodes, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a very short season.
I keep forgetting about it. And I'm probably part of the reason why I got canceled in the first place. Because nobody watched it, but I love Party Down and I need to check this out. That show's awesome.
Steed, what do you think Party Down is about?
It's about actors running a catering company.
Okay, so you're looking up these shows as we're talking about them?
No, that one I remember, like I saw an episode of it like 10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
But I have a photographic memory, so.
Exactly. Exactly. And then I'm going to put the 2 Star Wars shows, Ahsoka and Mandalorian, as honorable mentions. I don't think they're as good as
my number 1 is Obi-Wan, baby.
Well, that's not 2023.
Whatever.
I think Andor
I watched
is like
it in 2023.
Yeah, I like Andor a lot more than I like these other 2, but I think still watchable, very good shows, just not as high up as some of the other ones.
I think like doing that Boba Fett show I feel like sucked all the juice out of the Mandalorian. Like
interesting.
And like not even like necessarily knocking what was in the Boba Fett show, but it's like you stuck 2 episodes of the Mandalorian in that show, and take those 2 episodes away, the Boba Fett show is really only like an hour, like maybe 2 hours of content of the Boba Fett story. And so I kind of just like don't understand why they didn't put those Boba Fett episodes into
the Mandalorian,
a 3rd season of the Mandalorian. Yeah, and I feel like I definitely know people who like were excited that the Mandalorian was come back. I was like, well, did you watch the book of Boba Fett? And they're like, no. And I was like, well, you have to go watch episodes 5 and 6 of this show so that you can go start the Mandalorian, because gigantic plot developments for our 2 main characters like happen. Like they had Luke Skywalker in that fucking show, man.
Yeah, I know.
And then
Boba Fett?
And man, it's crazy.
I didn't watch Boba Fett.
Did you stop watching The Mandalorian?
No, I remember being very confused. Because I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, so it's like I just
back.
Yeah, and so I wasn't I'm like, I still love like just watching that dude fly around with the Baby Yoda for 8 episodes. But I feel like it lost a little bit of its fastball, and I'm hoping they get it back because I love that show, but it's not bad. It's definitely not bad.
Yeah. Then my last one honorable mentions was Ted Lasso. Always solid.
Yeah, I was up and down on the season. There was a lot I liked, and it's kind of the same thing and complaint I had with the morning show. It was like they just threw some like, it seemed like they just like had topics that they wanted to talk about sometimes, and just like threw them into storylines.
Yeah.
But there's still so much to like in that show. Like I'll always ride for that show.
Yeah.
Steed, based on your anime recommendation, I wanted to shout out the show on Max called Scavenger's Reign that I had number 12. It's this like hard sci-fi adult animation show.
I'm into hard sci-fi. Fantasy is bullshit.
I don't really know how to describe it, but it's just like very like trippy, really unique. Like I've never seen anything like this. Like the visuals are like crazy. Like I won't lie, I watch a lot of cartoons while I'm like cooking, and I couldn't do it for this one because I feel like I just kept missing stuff because there's not that much dialogue. And I think the showrunners actually said they wanted to make the show without any dialogue, and the producers were like, we're not going to do that. But yeah, that show was rad. Jared, did you watch The Curse?
So we actually had, Lil Steve, if you would have been paying attention, we actually had the hot firefighter from The Curse on the show.
Oh my God, I got to go back to that episode.
Yes, he's on. So he is actually Steed's brother-in-law.
Oh my God!
Is the hot firefighter.
Yep, we got Hollywood in the family.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So Jared or Steed, did you watch the whole show?
What did I watch? No, I didn't
You
watch
just watched the
whole
episode
show.
he was in.
Yeah, I only watched the episode, but I want to watch the whole thing. But my backlog of shows is piling up.
If he hasn't seen the show in that long. All right. So
yeah, you want to talk about swings, man. That show was, I had it like pretty high just because I think I was just so like taken aback by its existence. Like the finale is the simultaneous, like the dumbest and greatest thing I've ever seen. Like I don't even know if I liked the ending or not, but like I was on the fucking edge of my seat the whole episode. It's just so wild. I don't know how they got Emma Stone to spend 6 months of her life making this show, but she probably deserves an Emmy for it. Like it's
I'm shocked as well. Yeah.
Bird up.
Oh, first of all, real quick, I want to talk about my mom and dad's favorite ones.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to hear this.
They had The Bear, Fargo, Gilded Age. Have you seen Gilded Age?
Gilded Age. No, I haven't, but I love Carrie Coon.
So they've Gilded Age on their Diplomat.
I love my two favorite actresses are Carrie Russell and Carrie Coon. And I feel like I've done a disservice by not seeing either of these shows yet.
And Shrinking. But I messed up the order there. It was Bear, Shrinking, Fargo, Gilded Age, Diplomat. Those are their top five. And then they said there's a bunch on BritBox, but they weren't going to bore us with those. But they subscribe to BritBox. They watch a lot of British television shows on BritBox.
I've been hearing about BritBox. I think this might be not true, but I feel like a lot of the BritBox shows make their way over to American networks eventually.
Yes.
If they're good.
So
they got to go through a process.
Yes, I get 3 of those I haven't seen. So I got to watch some of those as well.
I know. The Americans, the Leftovers, man, those are my girls.
I finished them actually, Steve, per your recommendation. I finally finished The Americans about 2 or 3 months ago. It is a great show.
Finale, what you think? It's my favorite finale ever, I think.
Favorite finale ever. I think it's
The Americans.
It is as you're right. I'm trying to think of best finales. I think my favorite finale ever was probably Homeland, but it would definitely be up there with some of my favorite finales. It is so hard to end a show, especially a show that's been running as long as that did.
Mine was the first Dexter finale. That was my favorite.
Man, a lot of people were so mad about the second Dexter finale, and I was just like, "Yo!" And like to the point where people were like, "This was worse than the first time." I'm like, "Dog, it wasn't."
I completely agree.
Like, it really wasn't.
Completely agree with you, Stevie. I would like, but yeah, the second one was fine. I mean, it was like I
thought it was the second one ended good.
Yeah,
like,
the first. Yeah, the first
it got. Yeah, the last like 10 minutes were like pretty rushed and sloppy, but it ultimately got to a ending that the show needed to get to. Like he either had to die or go to jail.
Yeah,
and I can't believe they originally didn't end it with either of those things.
Oh, I didn't hear there's an alternate ending.
They got there eventually.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to talk about 2 shows that made me want more at the end. So I was expecting a little bit different things. One would be, I think you should leave season 3. The first 2 seasons I thought were some of the best, like sketch, comedy things as well. A lot of like recurring comedy bits that you would say to your friends. Season 3, I watched it. I have not rewatched it again since rewatching it the first time. It didn't have the same grab for me.
What was her job?
Tables.
What do you mean?
Guys, what'd I say?
Her job is so confusing.
The job isn't important. It's just a generic job that the writers of this made up for this.
But what is the generic job?
Just tables.
Yeah, I can't remember if I sat down and watched or not. That's a show that like I've watched but I can't tell you if I've seen the whole thing or not.
Yeah.
I will say, I mean, I've seen the 55 burger scene on TikTok 3,000 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I think I saw it every day for a month after that show came out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. There's a lot. And then like there was some funny parts from the season, but just like I was expecting it to be on as par, with like, especially because it's not that long. You're not getting that much actual content from it.
Right. Yeah.
Especially when there's a lot of build up, you're expecting a lot. If it's not like you're talking, it's not 10 1-hour long episodes. It's maybe 2 hours full of content, maybe at the tops. And then this is on my parents' list, and you like the show a lot. Here's my issues I had with Shrinking. I was not a big fan of Shrinking.
Wow. But you like Ted Lasso because they're cut from the same cloth.
I completely agree. And here's my two. It was almost two issues, kind of similar to your thing with Morning Show. The Liz character, I can't get over it. She's too annoying for me. The wife of the next door neighbor, basically. Steve.
Yeah.
What do you think Shrinking's about, Steve? Do you know what Shrinking's about?
Guys getting in the pool.
That's a good guess. Guys getting in the cold pool. Yeah, it's a good guess. It's about basically a therapist's office, and they're kind of a little unconventional, kind of like The Office, but for a therapy, but really nothing like that at all. But kind of dysfunctional therapy office. But yeah, featuring Han Solo as the main therapist.
Whoa.
Yeah. Who's great in it?
He's very good in this. And so, but yeah, the next door neighbor, she's like a main character, and I just can't stand her. I think she's an annoying character. I don't like seeing her. And then here's the other thing that really bothered me: this whole kind of culmination with his guy he's seen is, I'm going to start my own business as a caterer, and
Party Down comes back.
Party Down connection. That would actually be good if they did a crossover there. But he wants to. His one main character wants to start a catering business. He has never worked in a restaurant in his life.
Okay, so
and he had cooked like one thing for people. He had cooked like one thing for people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you should do a catering business. Here's $30,000." And he's never worked in a restaurant in his life.
Yeah, those are reasonable. Those are reasonable complaints. But I still like the show.
I'm just saying, and this is my same issue why the Bear wasn't higher on my list. They're still in top 5, but the Bear, I talked about this too much probably on the show. But there's that one scene where they get locked in.
They get locked in the
thing. They get locked in the freezer, and that is some of the worst. Just like the way it just doesn't happen. It's just not a realistic scene, as I talked about.
Yeah, when you like a show, you like. Because the Bear thing, that was something everyone was talking about. They were like, he would never get locked in the fucking freezer.
Yeah.
But like, I don't care because the show is operating at such a high level that if you get to this point where Carmi has to do this thing, he gets locked in the freezer. And they at least they seeded that. Like, they showed the freezer not working multiple times, even if it would never happen. Like, in this world, I was able to believe it enough.
They should have got a freezer expert to come in and advise them how you could actually get stuck in a freezer.
I just, Lil Stevie, to your point, I heard an interview with Harrison Ford, and he was talking about how, maybe it was Luke Hamill. That's what it was, Luke Hamill, and he was telling Harrison Ford that, when I'm in the trash compactor scene, shouldn't it, if I fall in the thing, shouldn't I come up and be covered in, muck and be wet and dirty and all that? And Harrison Ford responded and said, "Hey kid, if people are paying that much attention, we're screwed," type of thing. Like, it's not that type of movie, right?
Yeah.
Right?
That is one thing though, on I do think that Netflix has a problem with people always point out that in their period pieces or fantasy shows, the characters' outfits are always very clean and look like new clothes.
Yeah.
And that's something that Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon does really well, is when Arya is walking around wearing the same outfit for fucking 4 years, that shit is ragged as hell. It never looks like it just got washed.
Yeah. Do you want to hear a topical complaint that I had? Was I might have told, I think I did tell you this actually when I saw you in person a long time ago. Boardwalk Empire, one of my favorite shows. There was a scene where they had a double barrel shotgun and they were shooting it, and after he shot it, you heard a shell falling on the ground, and it doesn't happen with a double barrel shotgun. It doesn't eject the shell after it's shot. So very topical. Everybody's talking about that, I'm sure, all over the place too.
No, that stuff definitely drives me crazy too. There was something recently that drove me crazy like that, but I can't remember it. If I do, I'll text you.
Yeah. So any other final thoughts kind of show? I think a really good year for shows in general. I think we're critiquing things and stuff like that, but I think in general, I loved the vast majority of shows that came out.
Yeah, I ranked 43 shows, and I probably liked at least 37 of them.
Yeah.
To varying degrees. There was only a couple shows that I didn't really care for that I watched.
Sure.
I'm sure there's a lot of bad TV I didn't watch.
Yeah, there were some shows I was looking at, like things that came out 2023 that I definitely didn't see that I definitely would be worth seeing. What so any other kind of things? Obviously, you're most sad probably for Succession ending.
Res Dogs, Barry. Those three I'm really sad. Those are great.
Marvelous
Miss Maisel too.
Yeah. But I think there's going to be some good. 2024's already got some good stuff out.
Yeah, you watching Shogun?
I've seen Shogun. I've watched
Shogun
3
rules.
episodes of Shogun.
I will be watching
I like
the finale as soon as I get off this episode.
Nice.
Oh, the finale's out already? Oh, damn.
Yeah, I think I'm on episode 8.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers. 8's great, 9's great. Shogun and Mr. and Mrs. Smith are the 2 shows so far this year I feel like will definitely end up high on my list at the end of the year.
All right. Well, thank you, Lil Stevie. Any other final non-TV related things you want to touch on real quick before we pop off?
You know, I don't. Oh, I wanted to ask you this, Jared. What?
Yeah.
You've said you've been a dad for a month.
Yeah.
What did you learn from being a RA to kids 2 years older than you that you have implemented into raising your child?
Yeah. I think once a kid is older and he starts like throwing knives at the back of his door, and then I come in and bust him throwing knives like some of the sophomores that were on your floor that I cut, then I think then I'll be more prepared for that.
Yeah.
There were the people throwing knives like my friends?
No. So there was a couple guys that were older than you in the single rooms at the end of the thing, and I busted one of them throwing. I thought he was throwing a ball at his door, and then when I had to check all the rooms, he had these knife holes all over the back of his door.
Oh my
So we charged
God.
him to replace it. Yeah, apparently, like you just hear this
Jeez.
little noise against the door, so you thought it was like a ball. Somebody just like tossing a ball back, type of thing. He's just straight up throwing a knife at the back of his door.
That's crazy. Yeah, like we were dumb, but we were harmless dumb. Like
Yeah, exactly.
we didn't have any weapons on the floor.
Ideally, no. Ideally, like I think what I'll learn is not to give my kid weapons. That's going to be my biggest thing.
I'll do it. I'll be the weapon guy. I'll give him.
Yeah, Steve can be weapons. Yeah, he'll be weapons expert. Well, thank you, Stevie. Let's see. Are you still doing Rams talk?
Yes. If you are somehow a Rams fan listening to this podcast, Rams Talk Radio, we got some draft coverage episodes out. We're going to do draft coverage this week. The Rams have a first-round pick. If they make it, it'll be their first-round pick since 2016. So
that's crazy.
Exciting times.
That's wild.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
The one I've been doing the podcast since 2018.
Yeah.
And we've never had to cover a draft where they had a first round pick. The one time they had it might have been the 2019 draft, but they had a first round pick and they traded out and they didn't pick till 62.
Oh my God.
Like they traded back like 4 times.
Well, you could have been the Bears
like,
and drafting Mitch Trubisky in the first round. or Kevin White. Some great picks they've made.
Trubisky over Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Rough draft.
Well, Steve, I hope you guys get a first round draft pick. I hope the Bears get their first ever 4,000-yard passing season, which is the only NFL team not to have one.
I hope that they don't.
It's so funny, like how average Caleb Williams needs to be like the best quarterback they've had ever. Ever.
I know.
Here's the problem. Their O-line still sucks. He's going down.
Yeah, like if he turns out to have the same career as Derek Carr, he'd be a bust, but he'd probably be the best quarterback the Bears ever had
of all time.
Yes. He seems like a stud, though. I'm pulling for him.
We'll see. I've always known to be have low expectations for everything with being a Bears fan. That's been my life. So I expect nothing less. Yeah, exactly.
But hey, listen, when you knew me, I had the same thoughts on the Rams, and look at us now.
Good point. You guys had a Super Bowl at it. Okay, perfect. All right, well, yeah, Rams talk. Check it out there, Lil Stevie. And then we'll wait, as I bring it up every time, hot takes. We'll wait for the return That
Chaos
was
Little
am I
Stevie.
saying Chaos Little Stevie, maybe. The return.
Oh, yeah, the return.
We'll see. Unlikely.
Unlikely, but hey, never say never.
Okay. Well, thanks again, Stevie. Thank you. And then, hopefully we'll do another collab about a Christmas song. I like our last one. I was very happy with the last one we did.
That was great. That one was fantastic.
That was great. Perfect. All right, so wrap it up there. Check out Lil Stevie. New shows every Thursday. Check us out on YouTube. New subscriber, Lil Stevie, we just got right before the show. Congratulations. And
hell yeah.
Email the show, chubstep.podcast@gmail.com. The show has ended. Be gone.
Now you know you got to go.
Peace. This is Yasin.